You find yourself saying things you never would have said before, like, thank you, white tip, you heavenly miracle. I literally just said that. It came out of me. Oh my gosh, I've never said anything like that in my life. It sounds like something on Big Love. It is. It's a heavenly miracle. Yesterday, everyone was on the deck. I mean, everyone. There were so many squirrels. It was like a year or two ago when squirrels would just congregate on the deck and everybody was eating, because it had just stopped raining after a long rain and everybody was hungry, but they wanted to go to bed. So rather than scrounge around and look for nuts, everyone just thought, hey, let's run to the deck and Amy will take care of us. And I did. And I couldn't believe White Tip was there. She had run from all the way. She lives across the street in the woods, and she ate a lot. She was really hungry, and I commented on it, and I almost took video of her and Pippi, because I was calling her White Tippy, and I told Pippi, oh, that's White Tippy, and I almost took video, and I'm like, no, this is so stupid, I'm not going to video it. And then White Tip left, and I was sitting there with Pippi and whoever was left, and then a hawk came flying through, and he came flying through the way that White Tip would have did leave to go back to her place, and I couldn't tell if he had anyone or not. And oh my god, you become very religious when you have outdoor animals. You become very deeply religious. So I did a lot of praying and begging and I said, please let her be alive, please let me see her. I looked for her last night, I couldn't find her. And then she shows up this morning, and she she almost never shows up to the deck to eat. Granted, she did last night, but I can't believe she came this morning. Hey, White Tip, man, so happy to see you. Because when she runs back, she has to go through a lot of open space. I've got my yard really well protected, but not everybody does. And she has to cross the street. So I was so worried that he picked her up and then was coming around the house with her, and I kept telling myself he wouldn't come around the house, but then I was like, or would he, because I've got those blue lights to keep him from flying over the house. So anyway, I immediately went online, ordered more stuff. I'm gonna put some blue lights on, some blue light specials on over here, so the path she takes will now be a path that hawks won't want to fly, because there'll be some blue lights that I'm going to aim right up. And yeah. Oh God, I'm so happy to see you, White Tip. And anyone who's watched this channel a while knows she and I we both watched one of her babies get taken by a hawk last summer. And she was crying and crying and crying, and like I couldn't stop just thinking about, we both watched one of her kids get taken, and I couldn't bear the thought of her being in the clutches of a hawk, watching me watch her get taken. Oh God. Oh, White Tip, I'm so happy to see you. So happy. She's a smart girl. When I first met her years ago, I thought actually Rags too, we both thought with that white tip on the end of her tail, we thought, oh man, she's like a beacon, that hawks would. Oh, somebody just came up on me. Who is that? We thought that her tail was going to be a beacon. I remember Rag saying it was like a flashlight, and that he thought hawks would hone in on her, but she's done great. She's done really well. And she lives in a yard that I don't know how she survives in. It's all open in the front yard. I think she's in the back now in the woods more, but in the front yard it's so scary because there's just nowhere to hide. She does so well. Oh, Mr. RJ, how you doing? Breakfast. Here comes Miss White Tip. Can't get enough of you today. Oh my gosh, didn't know if I'd see you again. There she goes. And I knew that she knows this yard like the back of her hand, because she lived right there with her kids, and that's where we saw one of her kids get taken, which is why I now have blue light shining up over the house. Aww. So I knew she knew where to hide in this yard, but I was afraid that she was maybe too far past it and that the hawk got her. God, I'm so glad she's all right. So glad she's all right. You might be a heavenly miracle. You might really be a heavenly miracle. I did a lot of praying for you. I got someone on my leg. There you go, leg person. Little Miss White Tip. She's never been much of a leg climber. I don't remember if she may have once or twice jumped on my leg, but for the most part, she doesn't. God, I'm so happy to see her. I can't stop videoing her. There she goes. See, look at over there. It's all open. See how open it is? That's why I was afraid something might happen over there. They don't put hides on their lawn for squirrels. I don't know why. I don't know why anyone wouldn't. Save the squirrels. We got someone with snowy paws looking for me. I saw that snow on your paws. There you go. I'm telling Rover we're going to be enhancing security here real soon. Got some blue laser lights that are going to go there. LEDs or whatever. Lasers in our terminology, but truly just LED decorative lights that will happen to be in the path of where hawks have been flying onto the deck. And so also to answer that, we're going to have something a little better than table and chairs here. I'm going to create, in the past, one of the first, maybe the second winter, I had a tent, big top. Well, the big top would blow over in the wind. It was made for summer, really. And winter winds would get underneath it and pick it up and fly it like all the way across the yard. So I'm going to build a tent, and it's going to be very sturdy. It's going to have wood frame, very heavy. Apparently, if you pray for white tip, you don't just get white tip, you get white tips. I might have overprayed, because this is white tip 2 here, which has a fluffier white tip. There you go, white tip 2. Is that something? I don't hardly ever see white tip 2. And I did so much praying for white tip, and white tip 2 showed up along with white tip. I was just gonna get this really photogenic video of Gizzy's first snow, and this one came along and shoved him out of the way. But anyway, here's Gizmo, and he was looking really cute and relaxed, but now he's scared because the big guys are pushing him around. There's Ear Guy. And here's a character, right? A lot of white on the character. And then here's little Gizmo, and I'm just going to stand right here and protect him because we've had issues with these hawks that have decided the deck is a good place to come. So I'm going to have to build something. And it's going to be awesome, but it's going to take a little time. Got this thing. They call it a job. I have to do it during daylight hours, and actually, well, today 12 to 8, so yeah, it kind of holds things back. And then Lowe's is closing at 9 now, so I'd have to end work right on the dot, get to Lowe's in record time, get everything I need. There's his sister. There's her squirrel pox. 2-pack is not coming out very much, and I think she's sick. I took some video yesterday. I think 2-pack's sick, but so far Gizmo looks like he's doing okay, not catching squirrel pox. And then it's Rocket Girl. Hey, Rocket Girl, come on out, sweetie. I haven't seen you. I didn't see Rocket Girl yesterday. There you go. Wow, Gizzy, that's Rocket Girl. He's scared. Somebody came up behind him. There you go, Gizmo. Somebody's over here. Yeah, he's just so little, and they push him around just because. Oh, big Gizmo. See, here comes somebody, and he's on the lookout. So he has to be highly defensive because he doesn't have much of an offense, at least not from a size perspective, and he's maybe a little too sweet to just take on a Napoleon complex. Yeah, little Gizzy, you're okay. It's just me, right? Oh. Well, look at that. It wasn't just me. So, yeah, he ran off. And that's how it is when you're a small squirrel. unfortunately, for Gizmo. I gotta say, prayer really works. Here's White Tip again. This is hilarious. She will go weeks without seeing me. And then I did the prayer thing, and after I thought, the hawk took her, and wow, lo and behold, she's here every time I turn around now, which is great. I was worried how long I was gonna have to go before I'd see her again. Now, the way you can tell White Tip from White Tip 2, in case you didn't know just from knowing, by like, White Tip's tail has got less white on it, and White Tip 2, he wiggles his tail a lot more, but also, people who've watched know, next to her eye. She has had that her whole life. White Tip has like a white beauty mark or whatever next to her eye, and that's been there her whole life. So that's her telltale sign. And a lot of times I can tell her from the front without seeing her tail, just because you can see that from the front. Right now it's hard not to see her White Tip because she's using it for snow protection. Look at that. Wish I had one of those. My hair just hangs down and I don't have the ability to pull it up over my head. They must think I have like a really stupid tail. It comes out of my head and it just hangs down and does nothing. They must feel so sorry for me. Look at her. That's a nice umbrella you've got there. A nice snowbrella. Here's White Tip. Here's White Tip. I'm so happy to see you today. Well, as long as she's just eating and I'm just standing here, we've got the time. So yesterday morning, we had a thing where I was here and she was where she lives, and a hawk went flying from this yard over to where she was. Hey, no chasing her. This is Jesse James, and I swear, I think he's the father of her children, and he just harasses her. It's an ongoing thing. Been forever. But anyway, so I was here, a hawk went flying from here to the yard, or the woods where she lives, and I looked over, there was a squirrel plastered to a tree, hanging from her back legs, as they do when they're worried about hawks. And I look over and there's a white tip on the end of the tail. I'm like, oh, hell no. I'm like, I don't just leave that. So I went barreling over there and like got that hawk out of there, and she looked at me and then she went running up the tree, and then a baby came running towards her and they met. So she has babies over there. I don't know if she's still feeding them, but it had to have been her young, because it was a small squirrel. And after the hawk went away, she went running up the tree. The other baby came running towards her, and the hawk was over towards where the baby was. And the look on her face when she saw me, like, we made eye contact from all the way across the street, and she was all the way back in the woods, and I just like, she locked eyes with me, and I just went running. I mean, I assume we locked eyes. I locked eyes with her, and from what I could see of her eyes, granted they're pretty small when they're that far away, but she didn't move, and she just waited for me to come running and get rid of that hawk. And then she went running up and met her kid, and maybe that's why she's coming over here so much today and yesterday, which is what started the whole thing of why I'm so happy to see her today. I was also happy she lived through the thing in the morning, but then there was the thing in the afternoon at dinner time, and that one was so scary. All right, here you go. And I didn't see that the hawk had anybody when he left, but I didn't believe my eyes, and I just thought, well, what if he had her like clutched up under him? I was just so scared. So yeah, this is very reassuring.